Greetings and welcome back, dear listeners. And granted, for you, it'll maybe only been a week since the last episode, but for everyone here, it's been a couple weeks because I had a major surgery. I had a disc arthroplasty, and thankfully, the surgery was a success, and I'm finally ready to get back into the recording chair. But some things before we get started, even before I get into the parental guidance warning, I would like to take the time to discuss our last episode and the events that took place, and to clear the air about some things, and those who are fans of Bethany to let you know of certain things above the board going forward. I will not spoil the end of it, but Bethany's fate has not been sealed, and I understand sometimes my language that the way I think it's supposed to be coming across can come across a completely different way, and I should have chose my wording differently because Bethany is not going under any kind of assault or anything like that. When I say toy, they were using her as a mental games, using her to get what they need to go against the carbon-based and silica-based life forms and to be number one, using her to infiltrate places, just always having her make these relationships and break them. And to them, it was just as a toy, but to Bethany, it's intense mental trauma she goes through every time they do this. This is not the first time she's gone this for their mechanizations. But for the misunderstanding, I do want to apologize for that, dear listeners. You should have never even had to have felt that that was Bethany's fate. But she will have a chance for redemption, but I understand that sometimes redemption doesn't mean getting to have a happy ending, but being able to have people remember you with happily and remember you and keep your memory. That's the way of redemption I'm having Bethany follow. Now, and thank you, dear listeners, for joining us. It's been a while, but it feels great to be back with you. And so, going forward, as we all know, this is our Cipher System, the Mystery Pit Cipher System edition. And as we all do know, this game comes with a parental guidance warning for moments of extreme gore, trauma, mental mind games. It is a very intense moment. There's very intense moments, adult situations, and that comes with the series. So if that can be too much, please remember here on Infinite Nerd Theorem, we do have other tabletop series or non-tabletop series that do not come with a hard parental guidance warning. And we do appreciate you guys always coming back. And if you enjoy the content we do create, please remember to hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the content we are going to be having coming in the future, such as the player for Scruffy and Uretzi's are both going to be GMing their own games. So please make sure you're stay up to date by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the little bell for notifications, so when those are releasing, you'll be able to know that. But welcome back, dear listeners, because I have to start things solemnly because right now I am not even with the players, because before we can even begin the game, there is much that finally needs to be answered and revealed. We are getting very close to the season finale, and for everything to finally have its confrontations for what has been going. And now, before we can answer that, the first stop I want us to start with is the easiest person. Well, the first stop in our timeline, which would be the earliest, would be back when Bethany first revealed themselves when they were describing their player. Well, when the player was describing Bethany, telling us their backstory, everything, there was an event where Bethany said her neighbor was murdered. That is a moment that was the defining moment in Bethany's life, because what happened truly happened on that day. Yes, living next to Bethany and her parents, they did not know that there had been a very high level drug cartel member who had been making deals at schools and such, and he had been targeted by everyone. We're talking governments, fellow cartels, because he broke the rules, doing some heinous actions. And so finally, the master was contracted. And because he took over for the death cult, he sent out Riley to take care of these people. And, and after seeing the evidence of everything there, Riley was more than happy to end this man's life, even though he was still only about 14 years old. But that has nothing to do, in actuality, with what happened. And if anything, that was a red herring to draw your attention away from what you should have been asking about. And yeah, I think I did a little bit of a too good job concealing it by just doing that. So what you should have asked was, what happened to Bethany after that day? Because Bethany only remembers being at the pier, jumping forward. What happened was, Bethany saw the screams of the man, ran inside, not to get to her parents, but to just try and hide away because she wanted to ensure that what her worst fears of what witnessing anything in life, because she's not supposed to be outside. And just 1 second, dear listeners. And just had to answer a quick question on our Discord in between the players because I'm alone right now. These information because I didn't want to make the players feel trapped as I'm doing this info dump. This was just supposed to because I just feel bad for whenever I have to do these moments and go on and on. But Bethany knew she's never supposed to be outside because she's just supposed to be present. For whenever the woman in the suit comes in and says, Bethany, she's supposed to just answer each question by the way she has been told, nothing more, nothing less. Nothing bad ever goes on, and when asked why aren't you in school, her mommy makes sure she is taught everything she needs to know, and she is a great teacher. And if anything, or even a chance her eyes are giving something away, Bethany knows what's coming next. And, well, when Bethany saw that young man, she has never seen another child in her 12 years of life. All she has seen is the four corners of her room. Well, let's be fair. Yes, she does see TV. She's seen children playing, having lives on TV, these sitcoms. She's seen all that, but has she seen another child in the flesh? No, this is the first time. And, well, they're both in their aftermath of whenever they've injected themselves with that milky liquid in their arms. So Bethany knows she's got at least a few hours, maybe 3, before they'll be awake, and hopefully that young man will still be out there. She opens the door, but she sees him putting on this strange mask and like pointy-looking gloves, and that's when the screaming began. Poor Bethany, she didn't know that was when both of them woke up from the sounds of screaming and such, and just, oh, what the hell? We don't need this! God damn it. Haven't had a chance to clean up, get all... All right. As long as the police, if they come to the door, as long as we make sure to answer, everything will be fine. Yep. Okay, honey. Yeah, let's make sure she's still in her room. I mean, I don't think she would... Oh, what the fuck? Bethany didn't know. They already knew. Because when she went back to the door, after everything was done, she opened the door and sees them both. And I'm going to fade to black there. When we come back, Bethany is just crying in her room on her bed, holding a cold ice cloth with an ice cube in it against her lip. Just, why is her life like this? This is all she thinks until there's a knock on the door. And she can hear him yelling, oh, what the fuck? The cops have already come. They did everything. Swear to God, we don't have no one coming from CPS or anything. We've gotten through all of it. What the hell? Yeah, can I help you? And standing there at the door, Bethany doesn't know this is a gentleman with a velvet-looking like cape around his body and a elaborate top hat and glasses. Well, how do you do? And, I hope I'm not being too forward asking this, but doesn't a young lady live here? Because I happened to notice I was actually within the area when that travesty happened, and I noticed a poor young lady had happened to see everything. And, well, I didn't see her coming out with you when speaking to the police, and I could swear you were telling them that children inside. Bethany's father just looks at the man and goes, look, I don't know what any... The man quickly grabs the sides of his cheeks and goes, sir, I'm not in the mood for fucking games. Let the little girl come outside right now. I'm going to wait right here. When he releases Bethany's father is holding his jaw because he could tell just from grabbing him that his right side of his jaw is fractured now. So he is quite terrified of the man in front of him. So now he walks in and Bethany's mother, he just, he goes, Everything's gonna be okay, honey. Just stay right there and grab me the med kit from the cabinet. She understands the code. She goes for the gun. It's a Desert Eagle 50 cal hollow point bullets. This meant to tear people apart. This is meant to take away in last straw, but whatever they shoot with this isn't going to be standing there anywhere. So as he goes, kicks open Bethany's door, and he just gives her the eye, and Bethany knows she's going to pay for this. He doesn't lay a hand on her as she's walking down the hallway, which is strange to her. She's never seen him this scared before. When she walks outside and sees this strange, well, she can't even say man because she's never seen a human with, well, his skin pigment looks like it's mixed with a purple, like striping through his face, like the aesthetics of, well, the only equivalent I can give for you, the listeners, would be like a moth's wing, because those don't exist in the happiest place in Earth's world. There are no moths. There are no flying insects. There are no arachnids. Nothing. Just as there's not certain kinds of animals or marine life. Bethany doesn't know that this is a moth. He calls himself Mothman. He's been around for a very long time. I will delve more on Mothman and how he's been orchestrating everything. She doesn't know he calls himself MM. He just looks at her and he sees the swelling on Bethany's left eye, the busted lip, and he goes, "Young lady, you happy?" Bethany's never been asked this question. She's heard this stated to her. And when the people with the suit and the badge come, she knows the response she's supposed to give. But she's never been asked this by another person. So she starts to cry. "Thank you. You've given me your answer. Would you like to have a new life?" She doesn't know the answer. Her lip just quivers. "Thank you." "Hey, King, come here." Bethany looks and sees a very large limousine, and she doesn't know what she sees before her because she can't describe it. In the last episode, what I described for the Ant King is stepping towards Bethany, but he's wearing a hooded cloak, so only his massive forearms are showing, splitting the sleeves, and just a little bit of the mandibles are showing from underneath his hood. "Would you be so kind as to take this young lady into the car and let her have anything she would like to eat or drink that we have? Just no alcohol because she is a child." The entity that was called King rolls its eyes under the hood.
"I wouldn't do that. I'm not that dumb."
"King, I'm joking with you, buddy. Man, you think becoming the new king... Either way, just you take her to the car. I need to go inside."
"You need backup."
"No, I just... Look, this just shows me more and more about why I know we're doing the right thing."
"All right. Are we going to need to call a cleanup crew?"
"Nah, I'll just set the house to below as I'm leaving."
"All right. Be inside there, limo."
MM walks inside the house, and Bethany's mother fires the Desert Eagle at least 4 times before he descends upon her. And when Bethany's father comes around the corner, once again will just fade to black, and I'm not even going to describe any kind of aftermath. This is a hard fade to black for what he did. And he blew the house, and as Bethany watched what was her birth home, her mother and father not understanding their fates, but knowing that they are definitely burning away, her eyes fill with tears, but not from sadness, but from the freedom of what she has been. She doesn't care. She could be just being led to be thrown to the streets, and that would be better for her. She's just free. And as MM comes back, he's wiped off the rest of the gore off of himself and been cleaning himself with, Bethany swears, looked like a chittering like wing on his back. Like he was chittering, his jacket had become like a wing to just...
"So, boss, where are we gonna go?"
"Well, King, you never really did ask me about where I got the money for limo and everything. Granted, it's not mine. I'm not even going to begin to pretend because this belongs to the people that, as we go to pick up my daughter, I'm going to show you the people that are going to help us fund everything. And for now, I will leave from Bethany." And we thought, well, actually not yet, because this still is important of a reveal next, is as they're going, Bethany is just seeing as she's never seen these land sites none of all of this. But she's expecting to be pulling up to like house or whatever. Maybe even are they going to fly? Are they going to another country? But where they end up is, well, it's still very interesting because what she remembered from the few times she has seen a map and from how long they've been driving, which when they finally picked up the daughter that heard, granted, she sadly thought this was going to be another young girl like her, but this appeared to be a full-grown woman. But she's been very nice to her, just talking with her, telling her about how happy she is that basically she has a little sister now. And is just happy to saying, yes, you know what, Bethany? If you want to, please consider yourself a member of my family. Granted, it's just me and my daughter because that's grown up talk. Maybe when you're older, I'll tell you. And well, each time I'll tell you when you're older, honey. He swallows her head gently, and she sleeps on her newfound sister's lap. And when she wakes up, she swears she's in an area called Florida, maybe Miami. And she sees on the beach, and she's like, "Are we taking a boat?" But then she can't believe what comes from the water. It's as if it's a giant turtle. It comes up and literally blowing anything that Bethany ever thought she saw from animal videos. The side of the turtle opens up for the limo to pull into, and she's going under the sea, deeper, 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 deeper than we have ever explored and could ever fathom, until she's finally coming to what looks like a very elaborate set of, like, it looks like glass, but at the same time malleable like a bubble. It slows, it flows with if there's any motion with the ocean. But anytime, because Bethany has just seen such massive aquatic marine life she never knew or could have fathomed existed or even known came from dimensions or from places deeper beyond from the universe we could ever know or here in the ocean. And at one point, one that literally looked like it would dwarf a star swims by, but the bubbles easily block its body. Cities are safe. Deeper. Till finally coming to a massive, it has to be at least, in land terms, maybe 200 acres. And the best way Bethany could understand is this architecture reminds her of ancient Japan. It has the paper folding doors, but all of the shingles, everything is made with beautiful coral and other material from the deep sea in such colors that she would never know that could be formed from such a lack of sunlight. And when she pulls in, she sees these entities, that people wearing beautiful kimonos made of, well, they have converted materials once again like kelp, seaweed into the most beautiful of sea silks to make their clothing. And once again, this is a species, if this was regular Earth, Bethany would know that these, well, they definitely have elements of the aquatic species, but also humanoid. They're, well, the best way to say anthropomorphic. So, but in our world, they would just be axolotls, but they don't exist in this world. She does not know that these are the axolotl, and this is one of the most, well, this is the most powerful clan. This is the Aloxalinin clan. They just call them, for short, they prefer to be called the AN clan. Now, as the limo pulls in, a group of at least 4 females in kimonos, hairs done up in traditional raised buns, and all the women are still, and they're all wearing wooden sandals and such. They get all the doors open, and they wait for King, even the driver, everyone, and Bethany and Celebi to exit the limo. And then they close all the doors. They go to trunk. They open up the trunk, get the luggage, and they wait for and King and everyone to start walking. And as they're walking in, they keep at least a 3-foot gap between themselves and everyone else. And they keep their heads down, not looking up. And as they're going, tells Celebi that he's going to take Bethany to, well, meet the head of the clan and ask if she can stay here. Celebi, of course, has a worried look, and MM says, just until we're able to have a better place for ourselves that's not as chaotic, because even with what she's gone through, I don't think she deserves to be going through that every day. So he goes, and when he opens the door, there's four of the males there. These are the current heads of each prospective member of this clan, of the Aeon clan. Well, there's five heads. The fifth head is special. No one gets to see him from the outside. And when MM comes in, they all instantly turn their head looking at Bethany, and they're just, why is she in here? This is the meeting place. This is the head's meeting place. We do not care if that is some carbon-based life form. We don't care that's a human. She is still a female. You disrespect our head. There's just a snap from the back. All four of the heads instantly bow down, instantly turning perpendicular to where their hands are facing each other, and they slowly back away while they're still bowing.
I take it you have another favor you're wishing to ask.
Bethany looks and sees this man that she thought was so brave and powerful is instantly losing all color and just dropped to his knees and doing the same prostration bowing. I am honored to hear the voice of the head of the clan. Yes, I wish to. Oh,
calm down. Calm yourself. I am just curious. Why would such a human hater as you have one with you? Do you plan to?
No, I'm sorry, but no, there is no plans because either way that would just be wrong, because we've already know adamantite, silica, or carbon, they cannot procreate together. So no, sir, it's this young lady, this young girl. I saw the treatment that we went. No, I don't speak. I don't mean to say for anyone else, but you know as how the moth people suffered. I saw in her just. Okay, I understand. This is just some form of, we'll call it philanthropy, and I will say you actually have done quite good with this. Oh, MM just holds his head, just not even responding, because looking up is just going to spell death, or even worse. Sometimes there are things worse than death. Bethany has no idea what's going on, because the minute that strange, raspy voice started, she fell unconscious. Thankfully, she was caught, and she's has a pillow underneath her head, but Mothman is still shaking with fear, not knowing what could happen. Any wrong statement could spell the end of everything he's hoping, planning, and even this young lady's life come to an end, or even worse.
Well, you see, I've been speaking with Hall lately, and well, we think it would be good to have a human on our side, but not one taken by force. One that sees us as they see family. So you have given us such a valuable chess piece, MM. I will honor this, because I am guessing you wish for us to keep the girl here till she is an adult.
Yes, because I think it's safe for her while I'm getting establishing things and trying to get things moved ahead for, well, hopefully the extermination of Lahal and his bastard siblings and taking the park from them. And
don't need to repeat my plans to me. I understand. Yes. Everything must look right now. But if I'm going to allow this, you must, one, bring me these 6 bodies.
A list appears in front of MM. He does not understand. He's still not looking up, still in the prostration pose, not daring to look up.
And as the young lady lives here, she will be expected to adhere to the rules of all female members of the Axolotl clan.
Yes, I understand.
But she will receive also the appropriate female training and education, so she will be able to defend herself. But are you sure this young lady will be able to survive? But do not worry, she will not go through the final process that all women of our clan go, because she will not, of course, be expected to marry and produce an heir, because she is a carbon-based life form. So do not fret, MM. It will not ever reach that point.
MM's every fear he had has left his mind.
Now go. Bring me these bodies, and we will continue the next steps of the plan. When we begin the phases of infiltrating the park, you may raise your head.
When MM raises his head, that ominous feeling, everything's gone. The foreheads have scooched back and they're looking at him.
You know, you're one lucky son of a bitch to think great-great-great-grandpa would actually speak to you.
I already know how lucky I am. You don't gotta raise it up, fucking Randy.
You think you can talk back to me, you little filthy...
Brother, remember, don't even waste your breath trying to insult where he comes from, because remember, he and his daughter were thrown away by the... MM looks down. Yes, remember your place. You're in our home. You're borrowing from us, and your debt keeps getting higher, and we still haven't profit in one way. But I've gotten you... We don't care about money. We want them to suffer. Those 3 will suffer.
Especially him, that monster.
MM just says, Lahal? They all just turn and look at him. You don't even know the truth. Get out. MM leaves, and he looks at King, and he's just, well, Jesus Christ. As the humans say, there's the whole Faustian deal with the devil. Well, I think there are things worse than a devil, and I made the worst deal with it. Is this, King, am I making the right decision?
You know, you really shouldn't ask me. I told you, let it go. But for some stupid reason, we're both fucking pupils. And because of that, you're my little brother, and I gotta make sure you'll get through.
Now, this is when I want to take one last massive flashback with that sentence. We go back billions of years, actually. Because one fact that I have not truly revealed to you is this Earth is actually just a little smaller than Jupiter. Yes, this Earth is gargantuan. Now, as we go back all these billions of years, there is a generational ship coming. It has been coming from the Eldari section of the galaxy for at least 70 generations. These reptilians that have been hoping to find a exoplanet that they could find home. And oh boy, this is the largest exoplanet with not only water, breathable carbon air, but life. And they're approaching, and well, there's a good old young security officer. His name is ARMX2, and he's been ready for this. This is what he was born for. I mean, generations, like at least 70 generations have lived in this ship, and it's finally his time to actually touch grass, and he is excited. When the ship arrives and they land, they lose themselves in traveling around. Different clans of reptilians part to find new areas to call home. ARM X2 decides, well, I've been a security officer for at least the last 2,000 years. I want to try to find myself. And during his travels, he finds two very interesting looking beings. They look like they're in their adolescence. One looks like a humanoid ant that would later on be king, and the other looks like a very scrawny looking humanoid moth that would later on be known as MM. ARMX2 looks and sees a massive pair of scorpions coming to descend upon them, and he jumps and he smashes them to pieces, and the two of them are just thinking, and then he finally lets out, "You gotta be a real man! What are you doing? Just gonna let some kind of bug kill you?" The two young children are crying. He's just, God. You see, this is why I never want to get married or have a wife or anything. Or be anywhere that has any dealings with children. God, because you're a bunch of blubber, baby. God damn it. You see, I was born a man. This fact is not true. Armstrong was a child and he was a baby. He cried a lot. Even when he was a teenager, he cried. He refuses to acknowledge this. This is what is called selective memory, dear listeners. So no, he was not born a man. But you gotta be a real man and use your fist. So I'm taking you all both on as my pupils. I will teach you the way to be powerful, to be strong, and to live a real man's life. Over the next million years, Armstrong, King, and MM, they honestly, as Armstrong, even though he made that declaration he would never want to have children, these two go on to become, honestly, like his two most precious sons. And when the day goes off for MM to go try to find his clan and King to finally show his worth to the ants, Armstrong just, at first he was shedding a tear of just pride, but then he looked at that tear and was just, "Get back up there!" and sucked it back into his eye socket. And then, because of his teachings, King would go on to become the king of the ants and literally one of the most powerful entities on this planet. And MM, the road to hell is paved with good intentions because Armstrong wanted MM to have a good life, but he didn't know the hatred that was in that boy's heart and what he would do with his teachings until we fast forward to Armstrong is outside of the house and he looks at Biscuit. "Biscuit, go to these. I want you to go and follow this scent." Biscuit smells it. "You'll find everyone there. And Diana, it's time for us to begin Operation Charles." "But no, honey, I'm not coming back from this. If it's who I think it is and who I saw, this is goodbye. You've given me the best life I've ever had. I love you, and I want you to have the best life you can have. Our kids, I'm so proud of them, raised me 3 amazing children. Armstrong, please don't leave me. I love you, honey." And just as she's blinking from the water in her eyes, Armstrong takes off running as fast as he can. Dear God, he hopes what he hopes is not actually is happening. Just as Armstrong is running, we go back to the master as he was getting ready to descend down into the pit. He punches himself in the face a couple times and jabs himself in the throat. His facial features changes to that of what looks like an ancient Native American, one of the very first that crossed the ice bridge. This has been a long time coming. I've lived a very long life. As the elevator descends down, he's shaking because he's assuming that he's to face this ant. He barely survived against a marauder, and that was just a silica-based life form. And when he gets down there, the elevator shaft opens. The ant is shaking in fear, like backing away. The master is just, "There's no way you fear me. I know you things fear barely anything except those that can know." He looks up and literally 5 holes erupt from the flesh roof, crashing down. One crashing on the ant, literally caving its head down through its abdomen down to the legs, just shaking, purple blood leaking from it. The other 3 land around the master. The other crashes through the fake marketing department's roof. The master's lip is quivering. "No, It can't be. No, no, no. I watched each one of you have died. The master looks at humans, each one of them with white eye, just pale white eyes, tears streaming down them, each hand in a different mockery of the Bodhisvasta hand position. So each one is just a twisted mockery showing to maybe to the ashra, beads of deep, intense blood. But then the most horrifying thing is that throughout their body is these massive dinner plate sized gauges, but they're not like they're just the hollow gauges. So it looks like their body just has no bones or anything, but they're moving competent. And even through their neck, there's those massive gauges. It ends there, though. Well, except for their earlobes, of course. And then finally, he hears from the one that is female that hurt the master's heart. Well, well, well. We never assumed that, well, when we knew you. What did you call yourself, Crazy Legs? Take her face off. Oh, this face hurts you? Oh, well, just wait till what else you see. Another one takes it off. He has an elephant for the head, and the master just immediately, as he's gripping, blood is pouring down his palms. Take my friends. And then finally, when he sees the last one coming out, holding some packet of papers and other things. You let that one go. That one doesn't belong to you. That one does not belong. Is it the papers or my face that bothers you the most? What? Seeing the child you buried when he was what, only 20? All those thousands of years ago? What, does that hurt you? The bundle of items in his hands just erupts from what looks like just a massive amount of force from the hand. Don't worry. That was just what I needed to make sure was gone, because we cannot be known. Our existence cannot be known, and our hand cannot be known in this. Even though, well, I don't think anyone would be smart. Come now, let's put an end to your life. You've lived long enough, and don't worry, that little resistance thing, we didn't make them suffer. The master just lets out a blood-curdling scream as he goes. We go back to as Armstrong is finally getting to the Playboy Mansion, and there's just been chaos erupting, because as the limo pulled in, was just screaming about how he slighted me, about how Maury refused him. And when Hugh was coming out going, hey, who do you guys think of? Just slapped him in the face, spinning his head hundreds of times and his head falling from his shoulders. And chaos erupted. Everything is fucking ruined. And then finally Armstrong made it. So it's just what I thought. I thought I raised you both better than this. King, this is the last thing I need to see. Take care of this. Wait a minute. This is perfect. Tick, bring your daughter. We're going to go back to the limo, because that's going to be the safest place for this. King, I want you to go all out. Hit him with everything you got. Fuck, you're a monster, and I will always hate you. And I hate you, King. So consider this your punishment, you for leaving me, you bastard. And he takes Tick and his daughter, and they go back to the limo. Armstrong's just cracking his knuckles and goes, I came back millions of years. When I landed on here, I never expected that the two I considered my first real relationship on this planet, my first two interactions with life forms, would do this to me. Do this to anyone. I raised you with... You're wasting your breath. Please, can we just get this over with? Can you just fall down and act like I hit you? You're expelled, my stupid pupils. Please, don't make me do this. And when Armstrong charges at King, King just does the only thing he can and cocks back with all his strength. And 1/3 of California is destroyed. 125,000 people is killed in a blink of an eye when Armstrong and King's fists collide on each other's faces. And in the aftermath, the limo just raises up with some jets that are actually installed for the wheels falling back down. We just see King kneeling in the ground, holding Armstrong's head, just crying as loud as he can, wailing and wailing. And going, come on, King! This game's getting even better. We're hitting the final stage, and I think it's going to be something even I couldn't have ever dreamed of. King doesn't hear him. And then as we go back to the park inside, we see the 6 individuals are now standing at the elevator looking up, getting ready to leap, as the master is just, he has one right arm. His left arm is gone down to the elbow. His left leg is gone at the hip, and his right leg is gone at the knee. And he is just crawling forward, staying in his head because his throat has been crushed. He can no longer speak, just vomit blood. And there are just massive, gargantuan black spikes embedded in his back. He's not wearing the exosuit. He's just crawling, going,
I have to tell him who it is that's done all of this. I have to tell them before it's too.
He's still alive. And then with a massive scream, a final hole erupts in the top of the PBSO. Clem emerges, letting out a massive war shriek, landing near the master.
Thunder, is that you?
Very sad bird calls that sound like a great California condor as the beak nuzzles the master's broken face. And as one of the 6 tries to charge in for an attack, Clem's head turns, tears streaming down the Thunderbird's face as it erupts a massive screaming cry as a thunderbolt hits it. The body hits the ground and is just being... And what this Thunderbird can do is they can control the atmosphere. So literally, Clem is creating a whole new atmosphere around this being, and it's being pulverized. The other 5, the one that stood in front, that is the master's son's body, pulls the other 4 back. Wait. What are you doing? You're a dead body crawling. Accept your fate. You can do nothing for them. We have won.
Riley, you have done so much to make up for the sins of Eeler. I wanted to give you freedom for that and not have him win. You told me to be a man is to stand against anything for what's right. So what the hell do I have to complain about pain?
He holds a weak finger to Clem's beak. Clem weakly wails as he's pushing in, grinding in a symbol of codes. No, I was wrong. We can't let him send that message. They all take off leaping, and just as the master finally finishes the message, Clem lets out one final scream as literally this bird's body just becomes like a gas, like a very cloud. Then, it becomes a vaporous glass, like a liquid, and then something else, and then finally, like a thunderbolt, taking off through the hole. Because all 5 had launched one final attack that just sent the master's body flying to the gastric sea, and as he lands, he just starts sinking.
You know, I was almost done with that final book. Yeah, I had the final chapter. Redemption is possible. But wait, I can't leave it at that. I had so much, there was still their story to tell.
As he just continues to descend down.
That's right. I think I would call it the Magnificent 5.
And he just drifts lost to the gastric sea. And I think somewhere both individuals attached to the master and Armstrong immediately know when both of them died. And we will pick up as finally the phase of where the players thought they were on the highway has faded away. They are in a vast redwood forest, because that was just an illusion created by the Vale Valley. Unless you are taken by a guide, your eyes are not to be believed. You must not think the valley will always be in the same place twice. And as we get back, as we see in the limo, Bethany had finally used the purple substance, and her body was immediately clean. All the drugs she had been taken, and her mind was back to that of the mindset she had been trained in, the Aloxolinin plan. It's just, that's her way to escape all is the drugs. But he doesn't want to see one that he considered his second daughter to be in throes of addiction. When she appears calling him, that he knows that's just the drugs, and the only cure is the molecule in his wings. Perfect. It's basically methadone. It's Suboxone. It cleans your body. There is no drugs in it, but the side effect is it temporarily removes Bethany's memories till a certain point when they're going to come back, and that's what triggers the addiction again. She has to use to put it away. But when is just sitting there, Bethany goes, "Hello, Father. I do apologize for my behavior before." God. Kid, I told you, I hate that. Someday I'm going to get even with those bastards. Either way, it's a good day. Bethany, look around. Look at all the devastation. Wow. Well, it's time to get moving. Because, yes, Father, it is finally time for us to bring an end to this game. I am so happy when you are happy. Just lost in his thoughts. And that, dear listeners, is where we will leave off on this. God damn it, this was a great session of the happiest place in Earth. And just as I asked in the beginning, dear listeners, if you are enjoying this world I have had so much happiness and joy creating with my players, then please hit the subscribe button so you can always be up to date when new episodes are coming out. And even though we're reaching the end of season 1, surprise! Actually, I am going to be working with Dice Fiends to bring to life the event of what was happening at the USS Ishimura and USS Thanatos rigs, and why all that, which is going to be called the happiest rig in Earth, the last broadcast, and that is going to be with the Dice Fiends group. That will be an exclusive with them as part of a partnership we're working with them. And while then, Royal Flush and Essen are going to be bringing their own games, and so you have to make sure you are up to date so you will be notified immediately when their games drop. And I just look forward to what all we have coming for you all, because also outside of the TTRPG side, we are working on some very amazing, well, I can't tell you the subject because it would spoil everything. Let's just say it's some content. It's a little bit of old and a little bit of new. And I just can't wait to bring it to you all, dear listeners and viewers, those on the podcast or on the YouTube end. And I think every day that I get to do this with my players, that my surgery has helped me to where I'm feeling my inspiration, my drive to create is back again at 100%. And I just can't wait to see what we all do together now. And all of this is just happening for you, dear listeners. So this is the best time to be with us. And we're not stopping anytime soon, because then after Essen and Royal Flush's games, the Side Story Happiest Place in Earth Season 2 will be right back before you even know it. It won't even feel like 6 months. But until then, everyone, we still got a few episodes left to finish up this season, and, well, we'll see how it all goes. Will the real villain in the story win our... Actually, I'm just going to call it right now because these players are too goddamn smart. They're going to do it. I believe in them. They got this, guys. Right? So, let's give them a cheer. You guys are the best. Until the next one, everyone. Goodbye.